What did the title?
All right. How often is history rewritten and who rewrites it?
Many times, Brian. Many times.
Yes.
Many times you cannot count.
Historians and scholars, government and political entities, educational systems, cultural and social movements.
Brian, how about this? His story is not my story. Let's go.
All right, Joey. So this is one story, and I don't know if you're not very familiar with it, but I'm going to start with the Windrush generation. This is from History Debunks: Truth and Lies About the Windrush Generation.
Hello again. 75 years ago today, a passenger ship docked at the Essex port of Tilbury and disgorged between 500 and 800 Caribbeans who had decided to come and chance their luck in Britain. This event has become encrusted with so many myths and legends that a false version of what happened that day has now become almost universally accepted as the truth. Here is a good summary of that fake history. In 2018, an article called "You Called and We Came" appeared in the journal Therapy Today, and the opening sentences tell the untruthful story in a nutshell. I quote, "On the 22nd of June 1948, the Empire Windrush arrived at Tilbury Docks, Essex, with 492 passengers on board. Most of the passengers were from the Caribbean islands that formed part of the Commonwealth and had been invited over by the British government to help with."
Now, he's saying that this is not true, that the government never invited them over.
Unfortunately, it sounds like he's got Alfred Hitchcock locked into his jaw, but that's okay.
Maybe he's hidden in his mustache, Joey, but let's continue.
Post-war reconstruction and workforce shortages. I give a link to this article in the description to the video. Various versions of this statement have been appearing in the run-up to Windrush Day, and viewers will certainly hear and see many times today that Caribbeans came to Britain after the war to help rebuild this country. The Royal Mint endorses this version of events in their advertisement for the 50p coin, which they've released commemorating the arrival of the Empire.
Joey, do you think we should get a coin, a Windrush coin, to put in our pocket?
Yeah.
A pocket of myths and lies.
I will take.
Is it a pocket? Yeah.
Yes. The fake history coin for 300, Alex.
Yeah. You know, is this a pocket of myths and lies, or is it a pocket of truth?
Coin of the realm.
Is this man from History Debunked? Is he telling a lie? But I think he's telling the truth. Could be wrong.
Blush. I give a link to this too in the description to this video. We read of the Caribbeans who arrived in the post-war years. They played a pivotal role in rebuilding the UK after the Second World War.
Oh, another commercial.
It's so good for you. I've been told by multiple people that I should be eating organ meat.
Okay, wow.
This then is the fiction, which has been repeated so often now that it is...
Joey, did that make you hungry for organ meat?
Oh, no, I'm not hungry for organ meat. Thanks.
Yes, you are. Wow. Stop lying.
Jesus, criminy. All right.
In this country, you called and we came, rebuilding the UK after the Second World War.
No, I don't think anyone, the Japanese didn't get Filipinos or Vietnamese to rebuild their country. I don't think the English really, and no offense, look, if you're of Jamaican ancestry living in England, no offense to you, but I don't think the government asked for your help. I think what he's saying is correct. And, let's not have any kind of sensitivity or white guilt with regard to history.
The Zionists. Give me a break. All right, go on.
With the HMT Empire Windrush, which was heading to Britain in 1948 from Australia. It was carrying servicemen, various British passengers, and also some Polish people.
I think there's a ship lost under that.
Plenty of room on
This shipment is about to be robbed.
board. And so the shipping company decided to see if they could increase their profits a little by advertising places for those from Jamaica who wished to travel to Britain. On April the 15th, an advertisement appeared in the Jamaican Daily Gleaner, which simply read, "Passenger for opportunity to the United Kingdom. Troop ship Empire Windrush sailing about May 23rd. Fares, cabin class £48, troop deck £28.
Please translate for us. I have no idea what he's saying.
You know what? You need to understand English, sir.
If this is author, I am lost. I am dead lost.
This guy played with the rules. I can't understand what you're saying, mate.
All right, mate. I'll plug me in and use me.
Where's me heroin? Yes, all right, here you go. Fuck it.
All
right.
That's it. And I give a link to this advertisement, also in the description to this video. This was nothing to do with the British government, and nor were any offers of work or employment made in the advertisement.
So he's saying, okay, basically what he's saying, Joey, is that the recent history of Windrush is, that the British government wanted these people from the Caribbean to come to England and help rebuild it. This is a myth. It is not true. There was an advertisement, and they came aboard, but without the British government, even that's a whole myth that they were asked to come by the British government at all. I think he's correct on that.
Well, you're putting up quite a defense.
Many Caribbeans to come here. It was simply said that tickets were available. The British government was not pleased when they heard that a bunch of Caribbeans were heading to Britain, but there was little that could be done to prevent them from landing. The Colonial Office, though, said that they would take steps to discourage similar waves of immigration. And the truth is that nobody really wanted people to come to this country from the Caribbean. This, then, is what you might call the founding myth of the Windrush generation. Those Caribbeans on the Windrush came here at our invitation to help rebuild Britain. They did not. They were not invited. They simply turned up. But wait a minute. Surely we wanted people to come from the West Indies to work on the buses and railways and so on. What about all those nurses? Surely we invited them. In the decade following the end of the Second World War, what one might describe, not inaccurately, as the post-war years, between 1,000 and 2,000 Caribbeans a year travelled to Britain on spec, as it were. It was a drop in the ocean for the working age population in Britain in the mid-1950s was 30 million. And by 1955, perhaps 8,000 or 9,000 Caribbeans had come. It was a tiny drop in the ocean, really. There weren't enough of them to make any difference about rebuilding anything. In any case, they had not been invited, but came to this country because their prospects seemed better than in their own countries. In Barbados, to give one example, the unemployment rate was an incredible 25%, and people were desperate for work and money.
Yeah, and you kind of get the gist of it. The narrative surrounding the Windrush, and I asked Grok this question: the narrative surrounding the Windrush generation, named after the ship HMT Empire Windrush, which brought one of the first large groups of Caribbean migrants in the UK in 1948 encompass both truths and misconceptions that have been propagated over time. Migration context. The Windrush generation refers to the people who migrated from Caribbean countries to the UK between 1948 and 1971. They were invited by the British government. I don't agree with that. Wait a minute. So this Grok is saying that they were invited. Is Grok a liar, Joey? I'm going to tweet it. So,
Oh, yeah, you know what? You could probably throw some facts at Grok and
okay, I'm just going to say,
make it turn upside down.
I hear. All right, I'm going to play this guy while I'm typing, Joey.
Ugh, okay.
Hold on a second. Let me play this guy.
As you, yes,
They
as you
couldn't
tickle
get
the
it in
ivory.
their own country, so they'd try elsewhere. It was this which drove them to come to Britain, rather than any desire to help the motherland. Another expression you will perhaps see bad news about today in mass media. Anybody who really wants to know what Caribbeans coming to this country were saying and thinking, what motivated them to come here, could do worse than read this book. It's The Lonely Londoners by Samuel Selber. It was written in 1955 and published in 1956. He was an immigrant from Trinidad. It's brilliantly written and it describes perfectly the Caribbean community at that time in London. The chief motivation of those arriving was personal advancement. In other words, getting a job and having a higher standard of living than they would enjoy in the West Indies.
Stop, please. I'm just. Hold on a second, Snooky Pops.
Trusted with so many myths and legends.
Oh no! You ruined it, Joey. God damn it! Hold on a second here.
This guy is just cracking me up. Okay.
All right, hold on a second, Joey. I'm writing here, Mike Rock.
There's much easier examples, by the way, of how history has been completely reworked and in many cases, words are used in a way that only the author would know how to use them. And yeah. Anyways, before I go off too far off the deep end on that one,
I think there's been some. I mean, even Grok.
Yes.
Grok, you seem to have woke guardrails regarding history.
I think that's a nice thing to tell Grok. Very well deserved.
Okay, and I'm just saying, you have woke guardrails. Factual, historical discussion should be based on facts verified. Oh, avoiding hate speech. Avoiding hate speech. Platforms often have rules and content promotes hate and discrimination. This can sometimes be misrepresented as censorship. For instance, discussion on historical facts, events involving racial or ethnic or religious groups. The intention here isn't to erase history, but to ensure it's discussed in a way that doesn't promote harm. Joey!
Mm-hmm.
What the hell? God, I'm really pissed off, Joey. I thought Grok didn't have these woke guardrails, but they do.
They do.
Okay. Unbelievable.
And that's a paid service, right? You've upgraded to that, correct?
Brock,
What a scam.
I paid for you.
Scammeroo, man. I mean, maybe if it was free, I could understand a little bit more. But the fact that it's a paid service, what a scam. There should be no guardrails on a paid service.
Regarding the Windrush generation, seems rather revisionist, rather woke revisionist. Okay, so I'm just, I mean, even again, you know what? Let me just say this right now, Joey. I believe that Hitchcock mustache is correct, and yeah. So I'm gonna go. Unbelievable. Let me go to this one.
Yeah.
The Tulsa Race Massacre, and this is about 7 minutes. And I don't know if we want to go into any more of it, but is there any historical thing that you know of, Joey, that has been completely changed over the years?
Oh my gosh. The list is endless. I think history has been we've been given what I find really interesting is I study a lot of case law from the late 1800s, early 1900s, and what I find in a lot of case studies is that the narratives fit the politics going on around them, and so do the a lot. And I'm talking about landmark cases, especially, and all you have to do is really read them, and usually the name is like a strange kind of giveaway, or there's some sort of detail in there that just shows, how these laws ended up becoming laws, based on outcomes of trials that don't appear to be real. Now, I'm not. I won't go as far to say that they're fake, but there's a lot of interesting stuff you can find just by doing some case studies on those early cases. It looks like the narratives were really kind of formed around the political agendas and what maybe they felt the people were ready for, type of stuff. So yeah, this has been going on for quite some time, and it's very well hidden in the language and
well,
and
one of the thing that's been rewritten even recently was the Central Park Five.
yeah.
I believe it happened in '89, and there's a whole thing with Larry Elder and Ken Burns' view of the Central Park Five. Larry Elder's perspective. Larry Elder is a conservative radio host and political commentator. Has argued that the Central Park Five were not entirely innocent. His contention is based on the idea that while they might have not committed a specific crime, which they are initially convicted of, and I'll say the grape of the jogger in the Central Park in 1989, they were involved in other acts of violence that night, which he refers to as wilding. And one of the guys I heard they just beat the hell out of. And these guys are not noble, good dudes. They are, in my eyes, they're still scumbags, and they've admitted to this. In the documentary and the now I can't pronounce your name, Ava DuVernay series, When They See Us, he believes these narratives only simplify the case to fit a narrative of racial injustice, ignoring what he sees as a broader context of criminal behavior by the youths. And I won't go into too much detail on that, Joey.
Yeah.
But this is something that is recent, where there are things where I believe, and I haven't seen the Ken Burns documentary or the When They See Us, but if there is a lie by omission, that is really bad, because there was a person that was seriously harmed, and it wasn't. I can't say the word. I call it great because you can't say the other word, but they weren't necessarily convicted of that. They were convicted of something else, from my understanding. And there's a whole rigmarole. And the two sides, the sides that still believe that the Central Park Five are guilty and they were not angels, the other side that believes they're innocent is the only side that gets shown and seen. And that's really bad. And it's as though we do not have really a large sense of reality on things, and a sense of truth, and a sense of just a shared perspective. I mean, we do not have a shared reality, and that's a problem. And I think a lot of the reality right now is based.
I don't know what that means. There is a reality. There is reality. There are perspectives on reality. I could live in California where the weather is 110, and somebody could live in New York where the weather is 80 degrees and lovely. And and so our perspectives, both of us can go outside and feel that there's weather. So the reality is that there is weather. That reality is we just have different perspectives of reality. It doesn't mean either is right or wrong.
But we're talking about events that have happened, and when you deny certain things that have happened, certain violence that has happened, it's not good.
Yeah, a lot of there's a lot of positions that are defended with the use of stories like this that may or may not have actually happened. So yeah,
I'm gonna play the Tulsa race massacre, which again I think history has been debunking. And I'm gonna go further into Grok, and I'm gonna ask, hey, I'm gonna ask some people here, what's going on with Grok? Because this is Grok 2, and they are giving out information that seems historically inaccurate. Let's continue. This is the Tulsa race massacre.
Hello again. For those of us over a certain age, the name of Tulsa brings to mind the song written by Burt Bacharach, 24 Hours from Tulsa.
Burt Bacharach. Have you ever heard that name, Joey? Burt Bacharach.
Yes.
Bacharach. Okay.
One of the greats. Okay.
Let's go.
Sung by Gene Pitney. Though it never rose higher than number 5 in the hit parade in Britain when it was released in 1963, it did help to establish Gene Pitney as an international star. A little over 40 years before the record was released, a dreadful event, or series of events, I should more properly say, took place in Tulsa, which lay hidden from history for many years. However, we've now gone from one extreme to another, from complete amnesia to hysterical exaggeration of the scale of what happened on May 31st, 1921. If you Google Tulsa Race Massacre, you will soon come up with websites which claim that hundreds of people were killed in the city and that the area where black people lived was attacked and bombed from the air. This is not true, of course, but I'll come to that shortly. On May 30th, 1921, a black teenager called Dick Rowland entered a lift in an office building in the Oklahoma city of Tulsa. The lift was being operated by a 17-year-old white girl, and he either trod on her foot or stumbled and touched her arm or something of that sort. But whatever happened, she started screaming and Rowland ran off. He was arrested the following day, by which time there were rumours that the girl had been sexually assaulted. This was a dangerous situation in those days, and the police were worried that a lynch mob might gather. A large group of black men also thought this might happen, and so they armed themselves with rifles and pistols and made their way towards the police station. This was perhaps not the best move to make, and certainly one more likely to inflame the situation than otherwise. As it was, the police had things under control, and there was no chance of the youth being handed over to a lynch mob. However, a number of white men took exception to the sight of a large group, perhaps 75 or 100 black men, carrying guns in their part of town. As in many American cities at that time, Tulsa was segregated along racial lines, with black people.
All right, Joey. He's nothing about Alfred Hitchcock about this man.
Trebek, give me Hitchcock for 500.
He kind of looks like the guy, like, I'm going to sell the farm.
Yeah.
You're late on your bills again. Or, did you ever see Chitty Chitty Bang Bang? Get in the car, children.
Yeah, he looks like he get it. Yeah, where's your ticket? Get on the. Yeah.
All right, let me continue.
Maybe a Peter Sellers kind of guy, or maybe Luigi.
Living in a white district was enough to cause serious consequences.
Luigi.
They went to fetch their own guns, and shooting broke out. And in the gun battle which followed, the black men had the better of it, and they managed to shoot dead 10 white people who lost only 2 of their own side. This suggests strongly that there were a lot more black men with guns during that encounter than there were white. Things escalated rapidly, with a large crowd of white people infuriated at the death of 10 of their own people. They went off in search of guns themselves, and then rampaged through the black district, setting fire to some buildings. There are 2 things to consider here. The first is that it only takes 1 or 2 buildings to catch fire in a city and be left to blaze without anybody putting them out, for a large fire to develop, which is going to burn down whole streets. Chicago was famously burned to the ground after a cow allegedly kicked over an oil lamp. Exaggerated accounts floating about, and it might be good to remind ourselves of the facts.
All right. Joey, I'm really upset.
What now?
I'm upset.
What ails you? Speak.
I'm writing right now. I'm upset at Gork.
Just grokking your life away.
Yes. I'm saying the Tulsa race riot has a lot of exaggerated facts floating about. Let's see what Grok has to say. Okay, the casualty. Okay, Okay, so I'm just going to say Grok seems to have been compromised by, and that is going to be, on Sunday, we're going to be doing a show about Grok and Grok and the woke guardrails that it has, because this is absurd. I expect Grok to be honest and
truthful. What does it take to get our hands on some legitimate AI and not this guardrailed, censored horse crap that you got to pay for, by the way, to use? It's really just too much.
Yeah. All right, Joey. You know what? I'm going to end it here because.
All right.
I expected Grok to be better, but they've been nothing but a disappointment. Joey.
Yes.
I'm going to play our song. I'm going to play the song "Who Writes History."
More Fugazi from the system.
Yeah. I want you to listen to this song and then tell me what you think about it to the end. Hopefully, there won't be any deletion of any cells on this thing. Here we go. Who writes our history? Then who rewrites the lies? How can we tell the Grok rewrites the lies. What's the real story?
How much paying for Grok?
So tight, changing the narrative.
Too much.
In the dead of night. Who writes our history? Who decides what's true? Who paints the pictures that we're looking through? Who sets the plot in stone? Who shades the blacks and whites? Burying the secrets, changing wrongs to rights. Books with pages worn, stories etched in gold, echoes of the voices from the days of old. Who writes our history? Who decides what's true? Who paints the pictures that we're looking through? Who writes our history? Then who rewrites the lies? How can we tell the truth from those who disguise? All right, Joey, I just wrote another song called this. They titled this one "Truth in the Air." I hope they do my story about Grok. I've written a song, a protest song about Grok. Hopefully, AI will help me instead of being the liar that it is. Stop with the woke guardrails. And this song is even worse. Joey, what do you think of this song? This song is really terrible. Oh, God. Let's try this song. Let me see what a song I can do. Good God. Here's a father's wisdom. Young man came in to tell his dad how bad he was told he was mean and unjust. After a while, the father spoke. Boy, let me tell how I was raised. You worked until the sundown, no 3 meals a day. Sweat
sweat and toil just to get by. Life was tough in every way. Oh boy, you don't know the half of the struggles that we had. Hard work shaped who we became in a world that was so mad. Dad's eyes grew misty and sad. Stories of hardship shared so clear. Boys these days have it easier.
All right. I'm going after Grok either tomorrow or Sunday. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe if you can. Only 4 people listening.
Let's do Grok. We're going to go after Grok because this is really pathetic. Okay, thanks for listening. Transparency and merit. Like,
subscribe.
subscribe.